Welcome back, Stas23 here, back again with some knife therapy, and today I have a double header for y'all. I got the Kubey Monsterdog. I first picked up this budget version, and I picked it up because I just thought it looked unique, and the fact that this one is in 14C 28N steel, and as you can see, I've been using this one a good bit. It had me intrigued. I thought it was comfortable in hand, and you know, it was a little high in my opinion on price. This one was $70, but that's pretty much across the board with the Kubey and 14C 28N. But now the action on these were both super smooth, or this one's super smooth. I was kind of worried that this large thumb stud would be uncomfortable. It works fine, and I can get the knife out nice and snappy. It's definitely a unique. It looks like a rhino horn to me. I don't know. I like that little thumb ramp. My thumb fits perfectly on there, and after doing a bunch of different cutting up a bunch of different things with this, I got a message asking if I would want to check out the more premium one, and I obliged because I did not record the cutting footage with this one for the actual review. So I put this one aside, and this one came in the mail. So I decided I was going to test this one, and the premium version is in CPM 20 CV, and the price changes on this quite often because a couple of weeks ago I looked and I think they were I think $160 if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw them for $160. And then I checked today on Amazon, and they're $192. Kind of steep for what it is, but you know, we'll go from there. This one has, I guess you could call that a sheep's foot blade. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It's got a light satin finish on there. Kubey logo on this side, and I'm not sure the designer, but I'm sure that's his maker mark right there. I'll have to look that one up. CPM 20 CV steel. It came very sharp out of box, and this one felt noticeably lighter than the budget one that has the stainless steel liner lock. Now I'll check that toward the end and we'll see, but it just feels like that in hand. One of the biggest upgrades I thought with this one over the more budget one, are the contoured scales, besides, you know, the materials. But let's do some cutting with this and see how well they're 20C. The first thing I noticed right off the back is how comfortable this knife is. Not to mention it came with a really good factory edge and was slicing very, very well. You do have a shorter blade length on this knife, so you're going to maximize the entire cutting edge when doing these type of cuts. And the belly on the knife wasn't too extreme. I didn't feel like I was going to slide out of the cut or anything, and it held up the entire time. Then we moved on to the Pine 2x4 to test the ergonomics and how well the edge is still biting. It took me a little while to find the correct angle to make the fine curls, but it did just fine. And the contour titanium on this knife made this handle so comfortable. No hot spots to speak of, and I felt really locked in the entire time. I was able to get some deep cuts in there and the fine cuts very easily. This knife is perfect for those type of cuts where you're drawing it through something. The tip area is a little bit thicker, so it was a little bit more difficult to push through that leather, but it got through it just fine. The hammer grip is probably my favorite in this knife with those contoured scales. It's just comfortable to hold on to. Still sharp throughout here. Move to the rubber. Usually it's tough. It was blazing through this. I was kind of worried here because of the short length of the blade, but it handled it. It wasn't a problem. The edge could have been a little bit sharper, but this is a factory edge, and I was just happy that I was holding up this far. The knife has a perfect amount of belly to where when you're cutting on this cutting board, it was fine. I wasn't slamming my fingers into the wood or anything. Going through everything reasonably well. This this denim that I'm cutting through was super thick. Just an old roll that I had wrapped up a long time ago, but it handled it. I was kind of surprised. I thought I was going to struggle a whole lot, but it didn't. Made it through without any issues. And when I moved to this 1/2-inch twisted sisal rope, it could have definitely had more bite to that edge, but it was still sharp enough to go through this. A lot of times when I get to this part of the testing, the edge is either shot or there's absolutely no bite to the edge, and it just kind of skates off the sisal rope. But as you can see, it's doing great. It makes it all the way to the end, and it's still got a good working edge, allowing me to make 25 cuts fairly easily. Alrighty, I hope y'all enjoyed that cutting footage. I enjoyed making it for y'all. Now, let's close it up and take a look at this action. This one has a super smooth action. I mean, it does have a big, heavy blade, but I mean, I've had knives with heavy blades that just weren't like, you know, free droppers like this one. I have not taken this one apart yet. And I noticed usually they get even smoother once you clean them and put your own lube of choice in there. This is a thumb stud deployer. I can spidey flick it as long as I make sure I'm keeping my finger off that lock bar. I try to just keep my finger on the pocket clip. And it's riding on ceramic bearings and a ceramic detent. Very good tuned detent. It comes rocketing out. Let's see, you can deploy it left-handed. However, the clip is not tapped for left-handed carry. Let's take a look at the scales. You have the Kubey logoed pivot right there. You have Torx T8 and very nice Torx. The heads on those are nice and crisp. You have like a bead blasted finish on the titanium frame, a nice chamfer going all the way around. And like I said before, these are nice and contoured, which is awesome. I'll tell you, it made all the difference in the world whenever I started cutting with this one. You have a geared pattern on your back spacer and the hidden lanyard post. I love that they did that and didn't pop a hole in here. Keeps this nice and clean looking. There's your stop pin, and your pocket clip is kind of like a coffin shaped. It has a decent bit of spring to it. Let's check it out in the pocket. I noticed it goes in and out of the pocket pretty good, and that's what you have left in the pocket. Now, it is a pocket hog. It takes up a good bit of your pocket because it is a wide knife. And you're gonna feel that you have something in your hand because it's a chunky little beast right here. Let's check out the weight real quick. Let's check out first in grams, 136.2 grams and 4.8 ounces. Now let's check out the more budget one in ounces. 4.88. What is this one? 4.8. So yeah, that one's a little bit lighter. That's surprising with as much titanium as you have here. That said, besides you have that contouring and you have some heavy skeletonization on that show side and on the lock side. Very nice. I like the lock bar cut out. I think that looks nice as well. And while we're talking about lock, let's check it out. Your lock is sitting at around, I'd say 20-30%. I usually like mine over a little bit more just to give you a little bit more security, but this thing is rock solid. You know, it looks like a tank, and it is a tank. So definitely would make an excellent little work knife. They put you a little jimping right here so you don't slide up onto that blade very easily. And I must say, God, this is such a locked in position. These two fingers, perfect right there. And then this swell right here, wrap around nicely. I'm usually not the biggest fan of this type of construction. I mean, you know, the choil layer like that, just because it kind of forces you in that grip. But luckily, it worked out perfect for my hands. I have a medium-sized hand, and I get a full 4-finger grip. The access to that lock bar is very nice because you have a lower side on the show side scale, plus you have a chamfer on the lock side with some texture right there, so it's very, very easy to get your thumb in there. I don't have to use the side of my thumb. Yeah, you saw that drop shut. Very, very nice. The centering is a little to the right, but that could, well, is it? It might not be. I don't know. It kind of looks like it's a hair to the right, but I did just finish testing this, so I'm sure all it needs is a little tightening. Not a big deal. Some quick size comparisons. We got the Spyderco Power 3 and the Doug Ritter and Hogue Mini RSK. Both of these are excellent size comparisons. The Power is a little bit longer and the Hogue Ritter is just a hair shorter. We have the Ontario Rat Model 2 and the QSP Penguin. Both of these are excellent size comparisons in the length department. All right, nitpicks and complaints. I would have loved to see a heavy stone wash finish on the blade. I think it would have looked really nice. I'm not a huge fan of satin as it is, and this one's like a real smudgy satin. If you can have satin, I like to see the lines a little better. Also, I would have loved to see them bring this out just a little bit more because you're just barely clearing that plunge. I did sharpen it after I did all the testing, and you can see it's starting to widen up just a hair. You can see it more on this side. So more than likely the next sharpening is going to be widened back there a decent little bit. Other than that, you know, I like the knife. I enjoyed carrying and using it, as well as this one. If I had to choose between one of these, it would have to be this one because of the contoured scales and all the upgrades. Is this a good one? Yeah, it's a good one if you like the overall look of it. It's a tad bit heavier, but it's still super comfortable. Let me see something. This one feels like it's thicker for some reason. I guess it's just because of this one being contoured, and it gets, you know, skinnier like at the bottom right here. So it feels skinnier, but it's more comfortable in hand. This one just feels like it fills out the hand a little bit more. Overall, another good knife. Their 14C does, you know, does fairly well, like a lot of other 14Cs out there. But value, you know, at $190, I think that's a little steep for this. You know, I get it, the contoured titanium. I think at $160 would have been ideal for this one. And I know 70 is across the board, but man, I would love to see this at like 50, 55 maybe. I know it's 14C, and 70 is not, you know, outrageous, but, you know, that's my final thoughts. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.